the martial artist, this is the top of the mountain, the octagon. Years of blood, sweat, and sacrifice all lead up to this, the Olympics of the martial arts world. To step onto this mat is to realize the dream of a lifetime, but for some, it turns out to be a nightmare. Tonight, the fastest, most powerful, most intense fighters on the planet meet in the Ultimate Fighting Championship 7, the most talked about event in sports. They come from 5 different continents, putting their skills to the ultimate test. 8 fighters on a no-holds-barred collision course that ends right here in the octagon. And when it's over, only one will be named the 7th Ultimate Fighting Champion, plus the Superfight. Defending Superfight champion Ken Shamrock meets UFC 6 kingpin Oleg Taktarov. It's The Rock versus the Russian Bear in Shamrock's first title defense as master of the octagon. Both men, kings of submission. Both men, battle-tested and ready. But on this night, only one man will emerge victorious. So welcome to the House of Dreams and Pain, the House of Guts and Glory, as the stage is set for UFC 7. Let's open up the gate. We're in Western New York on the shores of Lake Erie in the city of Buffalo on a cool September evening. And this is the Erie Basin Marina in the heart of the waterfront, adjacent to historic City Hall, one of the centerpieces of Buffalo's architectural legacy. Are setting the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium, which opened in 1940 and now is the home rink of the Buffalo Sabres. But tonight, at the venerable Aud, it will be fists, not pucks, flying from every angle. It's time once again for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bruce Beck. Tonight, just 7 weeks after our trip to Casper, Wyoming, we are back with UFC 7. And certainly with the quality of this competition, it's easy to understand why the event is called the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Tonight, we've got fighters from 5 different countries representing 14 different disciplines. Our main draw is outstanding. We've got 4 returning veterans. And as far as the Superfight is concerned, well, it's a heck of a matchup. Ken Shamrock defending his belt against Oleg Taktarov, the UFC 6 champion. Right now, to one of the members of our broadcast team, Olympic gold medalist in 1984 at the Olympics. Let's go to Jeff Black.
I'm entering the battleground of the UFC, the octagon. It measures 32 feet across. It is surrounded by a 5-foot-high chain link fence that is both heavily padded and reinforced. There are 2 doors that both have deadlocks on them, and the footing is firm and fast. But perhaps the greatest feature of the octagon isn't its physical characteristics, but an intangible one, the effect it has on a fighter's psyche. To walk in alone and hear that deadbolt clang shut, to look up and see your opponent staring at you. Perhaps as first-timers come into this, it is a situation where it's hard for them to stay relaxed and calm. Thus, experience becomes a tremendous, tremendous commodity. But it even affects some of our most experienced fighters. Canadian Harold Howard, one of our fighters here tonight, perhaps sums it up best. And I quote, "It's a great rush, eh? It makes your sphincter get real tight." In my mind, that gives the phrase "pucker up" a whole new meaning. Back to you, Bruce.
Thank you, Jeff. How do I make a transition off of that throw? Well, tonight we're pleased to introduce the newest member of our broadcast team. For 17 years, he was one of the premier kickboxers on the planet. He won 12 world titles in 4 different weight divisions. 3 times he was named Fighter of the Year. He made a marvelous transition from fighter to film star, making 18 movies from Blood Fist to Batman Forever. They call him the Dragon, Don Wilson. And Don, it's great to have you.
It's great to be here, Bruce.
What intrigues you about the UFC?
Well, I'm a fight fan, and there's no place in the world where all the different styles of fighting can occur under one roof except the UFC.
Over the last few days, you've talked to every fighter. What do you think of this group overall? What about the quality of the field?
Well, I'm very impressed with their experience. I mean, these guys have trained for over a year and a half, some of them, for this event. And the most impressive thing I could say is their attitude. These guys have come to win, and they got the strongest rules I've ever come up against.
Now, there's lots of different disciplines here, so many different names. If the Dragon were to get into the octagon, what would your discipline be?
Well, I think it'd be defendo, because there's a lot of punishment to be dealt out, and I'd be looking to defend myself more than anything else.
All right, right now let's take a look at the complete draw for UFC 7 in Buffalo, New York. First of all, the alternate matches. Joel Sutton representing Praying Mantis Kung Fu, a winner. Also, Onassis Parungal, his discipline, Tong Kong Kalan. And finally, Scott Bizak, a grappler, advancing in 37 seconds. We may see the alternates a little bit later tonight, depending on what happens in the main draw. Our referee tonight is John McCarthy, the big man from the LAPD. He is the man who runs things in the octagon. He's from Orange County, California. Leon Tabbs is the fabled cut man. Leon Tabbs from Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. He's worked with many different fighters over the years, 8 years as a military medic. There's Dr. Richard Istrigo from Howard Beach, New York. He has been with USA Boxing, and Richard Istrigo is the chief medical advisor. And there is Ron Van Cleef. He's not the Dragon, he's the Black Dragon, the IFC commissioner. He is the man who makes many of the judgments regarding the UFC. An absolute gentleman, a superb fighter. He went into the octagon at age 52. Here are the laws of the octagon. No biting, no eye gouging. Referee can restart the fight. 20 minutes and 30-minute time limits. 5-minute overtime in the finals and the super fight. Ways that you can win an event in the UFC: by knockout, by submission, a corner throwing in the towel, and every fighter has a corner man who has an ability to throw it in, and the referee can stop the contest. There can also be a disqualification. Right now, let's take a look at the main draw for UFC 7. We open up with Jerry Harris against Paul Varelans. Then the two H's go head-to-head. Paul and Howard. Paul in his first UFC. Howard, the runner-up in UFC 3. Then the two P's do battle. Dutchman Remco Pardoel squares off with Vital Point striker Ryan Parker. And we complete the quarterfinals of the main draw with the highly regarded grappler Marco Ruas of Brazil against the man they call Thunderfoot, Larry Cureton. And tonight, for the third time between the semifinals and finals of the main draw, we've got a super fight. The Japanese pancrase shoot fighting champion, Ken the Rock Shamrock, takes on a friend turned foe, world Sambo champion, Oleg the Russian Bear Taktarov. We're set for the formal introduction of the fighters. And right now, to the golden voice of fighting sports, let's go up to our octagon announcer, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the War Memorial Auditorium here in the home of the Buffalo Bills, Buffalo, New York, where tonight, SEG Sports Corporation presents the ultimate in excitement, the ultimate in war, the ultimate in martial arts, the ultimate fighting championship 7. 8 of the world's toughest men will come into this octagon tonight, and at the end, only one shall emerge victorious. Plus, later this evening, the Russian Bear versus The Rock. In his first title defense, Superfight champion Ken Shamrock takes on UFC 6 champion Oleg Taktarov. Tonight, there are no weight classes, there are no rounds, there are no timeouts. Assigned at the octagon, at the side of the octagon, our official physician is Dr. Richard Istrigo. And when the action begins inside the octagon, the man in charge will be your official UFC referee, Big John McCarthy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Buffalo, New York, are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble! Introducing to my left, he's a black belt in Kyokushin Karate, 38 years of age, the oldest competitor in the UFC tonight. He's 6 feet 8 inches tall and weighs 260 pounds. From Eureka, California, ladies and gentlemen, Big Jerry Harris. And his opponent to my right, returning to the octagon tonight, a black belt in the art of trap fighting. 25-year-old who stands in at 6 feet 8 also. He weighs 300 pounds, fighting out of Sunnyvale, California, but he's originally from the icy north of Fairbanks, Alaska. He's known as the Polar Bear, presenting Paul Varelans.
And here's a look at the tail of the tape. Harris, the oldest man in the competition. Both men are extremely huge. 40-pound advantage to Varelans.
I'll tell you, the one thing about Varelans that you have to wonder, Cal Worsham, even though he lost to Varelans in UFC 6, hit Varelans a number of times in the head, and if Harris has got a lot more power, that could spell trouble. But Varelans' youth, I think, is also an advantage.
Well, the only trouble with Kyokushinkai is they don't punch to the face, so we'll have to wait and see.
Here we go. Varelans cruising across the octagon, grabbing Jerry Harris, leaning up against the octagon and throwing him down to the canvas. And beginning to punch at Jerry Harris's face. The door of the octagon swung open for a moment with the ferocity of that drop.
Varelans is in very good position here, and with absolutely no ground experience, Harris is in trouble.
Varelans punching to the head.
Varelans wants to be smart, conserve energy here, find an easy weakness, exploit it, and then finish it.
Punching to the head is Varelans.
Big mistake by Harris to turn over on his stomach, because that sets him up for a choke.
Oh, he's not even choking him. He's continuing. He's going to break his hand if he hits him on the top of the head enough.
Varelans continues to pound away at the head of Jerry Harris.
Let's go! I'll tell you what, Jeff, it doesn't look like Varelans is really that experienced with the wrestling by what he's doing. I mean,
not at all. Not at all. But Harris is in a lot of trouble. Oh, that's going to be it.
Look out, that's it. Elbows to the head by Varelans. Referee John McCarthy got in there quickly, and the Polar Bear has emerged from hibernation, and he has won his first bout again. Paul Varelans, 1 minute and 7 seconds in, tops Jerry Harris. And he might have the flu, Don, but one of the things he's got is tremendous tenacity, tremendous mettle.
Absolutely. He got in very quickly, and once it was on the ground, it was not Harris's game.
Right now, let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes, and the winner advancing now. He's originally from Fairbanks, Alaska, the Polar Bear, Paul Varelans.
So the Polar Bear advances, and it didn't take long, all of 67 seconds. Jerry Harris coming over, giving Polar Bear a big hug. Don, a look at some action.
Right, from here, Harris is really defenseless. I mean, Kyokushinkai is contact sparring, standing up. There is no ground fighting taught. And without the experience, he really didn't know what to do in this position. I mean, it was just lucky for him that Varelans didn't put a chokehold on him.
Another look at it. There's that big elbow. And that was it. You see him tapping out.
No choice there. No choice there.
So a tap out by Harris, and that's when Big John McCarthy came running right in. Here's our next quarterfinal matchup. It's Mark Hall against UFC veteran Harold Howard. Let's go up to Michael Buffer for the introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Ultimate Fighting Championship 7 continues. Once again, when the action begins here in the octagon, the referee in charge will be Big Joe McCarthy. Introducing first to my left, he has a third-degree black belt in the art of Muay Do, a black belt in Taekwondo, and a black belt in American Karate. With an amateur kickboxing record of 5-0, 3 by knockout, 34 years old, 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, from Murrieta, California, introducing Mark Hall. And his opponent across the octagon, a veteran of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, he holds a 5th-degree black belt in the art of Katsu Tai-Jitsu, a 3rd-degree black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, a 3rd-degree black belt in Goju Karate, and a 2nd-degree black belt in Shitoru Karate. 37 years old, 6 feet 2, 240 pounds. He's the pride of Niagara Falls, Canada, presenting Harold Howard.
And here's a look at the tail of the tape. Both guys in their 30s, 2-inch height advantage to Howard, 50-pound weight advantage. The draw was done randomly at Boomer's Restaurant in New York City on Wednesday. We are set to go. Harold Howard, Mark Hall, Big John McCarthy, third man in the octagon. When he says, let's get it on, we will.
Let's get it on.
One thing about Hall, he says he's good at defense and he wants to use motion and try to get Howard to have to chase him. Use movement to his advantage. You can see Howard wanting to set up that right hand right away.
Howard lands to the body. Solid right hand by Harold Howard.
Well, this is a position Howard is not familiar with.
Oh, he's got a good choke here, too.
Howard rolled to his back, but he's working on the choke.
Oh, a couple good shots by Hall right there.
Hall lands again. Big right hand by Hall. Now a left.
Really, Howard wants to hold him close, not let him raise up where he can start getting room to throw punches.
Right, he needs to lock in behind the head and keep him down, keep him close.
Blood coming from the face of Harold Howard. Mark Hall on top, Howard on the bottom. He's got Howard's hair.
That's a smart tactic. Howard came in with hair, and Hall's going to use it to keep his head down, try to get some room, get the leverage going, and then wail on punches. And really, Howard's lack of experience on the ground here is hurting him.
Hall going for the headbutt. Now Howard trying to come back with a choke, and he can't get it. Howard's face is bloody.
Keep it working.
John McCarthy says to Hall to keep working.
It's done. Howard's tapped.
Howard is tapped out. Mark Hall wins. And I believe it's a surprise. It took a minute 41.
Well, it was a surprise to me. I didn't expect Hall to get on top of him like that. He had that kind of position as a wrestler. I didn't think he had the experience.
Well, anybody that saw a Howard tape knows he's got a big right hand and he doesn't have a lot of ground experience. Hall used it to his advantage.
Mark Hall showing tremendous strength, especially in his upper body. A wrestler in high school wanted to test himself tonight. Donna, look at it.
From the takedown on, it looked like it was going to be Harold, but when he rolled over on him, it was all his way. That was it. The only thing I can say is Harold did keep his legs on the outside, but he didn't use it to his advantage. He didn't keep Hall's head close enough, which, like Jeff said, gave him room to punch.
Well, Mark Hall grew up and he had a speech impediment. He started fighting when kids made fun of him. Became a bouncer, a wrestler in high school, played football and baseball, and 5-0 in amateur kickboxing. And Dragon, here's a look at the tap.
Right, I think he takes a series of punches here and taps.
And you know, they tell you to tap out by hitting the ground with your foot or hand. He just gave like a cross sign with his hands, and it wasn't really received quickly by Big John McCarthy. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Big John McCarthy has to call a halt to the action. The winner and advancing in the Ultimate Fighting Championship 7 from Murrieta, California, Mark Hall.
So Mark Hall weathered that early storm, and then he came back big time.
Right. Well, you know, once he reversed on Harold, it was all over. Harold didn't have the wrestling and grappling experience to deal with it.
Well, Jim Kelly, quarterback of the Bills, in attendance tonight, taking in the UFC action. Here's our next quarterfinal matchup. It's Remco Pardoel will take on Ryan Parker. Pardoel, Jiu-Jitsu, Ryan Parker, Okinawan Karate.
Ladies and gentlemen, UFC 7 continues with our third match. Once again, referee in charge, Big John McCarthy. Introducing, to my left, 26 years old, 6 feet 4 inches tall, 265 pounds. Please welcome back to the octagon a veteran of the UFC from Oos in the Netherlands. He holds a second-degree black belt in Jiu-Jitsu with black belts in Judo and Taekwondo. He's a two-time Junior Netherlands Judo champion, two-time Dutch Jiu-Jitsu champion, two-time Danish Jiu-Jitsu champion, two-time German Jiu-Jitsu champion, the Belgian Jiu-Jitsu champion. He is the former Jiu-Jitsu champion of the world, Remco Pardoel. And his opponent across the octagon, a 25-year-old Kumite fighter. He holds a third-degree black belt in the art of Okinawan Karate. He stands in at 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighs 235 pounds. From Moorhead, Minnesota, ladies and gentlemen, he is Ryan Parker.
And here's a look at the numbers. 26 years of age, Pardoel, 25 for Parker. Height about the same. Pardoel with a 30-pound weight advantage. Second UFC for Pardoel. First UFC for Ryan Parker.
Let's get it on!
And here we go.
Now, Parker himself said he may lack a little bit of conditioning, and being a first-timer, he lacks experience in the octagon. Obviously, Remco a little bit more experienced in there, and he's closed the distance. This is now Remco's kind of fight.
Well, you know, he said
Parker down.
He said earlier on that he was going to use a secret tonight. Now let's see if we can figure out what it is.
And right now it is Ryan Parker backed up against the fence of the octagon. Both fighters wearing the gis. Nice move by Pardoel. Beautiful takedown.
That's just a straight headlock, but he's going to get that arm lock into place here. If he can get that thing secure between his... Oh, that's it. He's going to have to tap out.
At the head.
And he has no defense, no way to protect his face there.
He has not tapped out yet. It's a wide open target and Pardoel just pops away.
Parker says he's hard to hurt, but boy, I'll tell you what, those are some straight shots.
Now he's got his arm. If he locks that arm out, it will be over.
Trying to end it with a choke. A little over a minute in. Remco Pardoel in control.
Let's go.
It almost looks as though Parker's trying to fight off his back. I don't even know if he really has to. That's like a wrestling response. Get off your back. All he needs to do is keep from being choked and prevent those hands from striking him. You can see Remco's knuckles are very red.
Pardoel taking full advantage of his 30-pound weight advantage.
Remco's going to start looking for a submission here.
Remco continues to work. Parker.
He's going to try to, this is going to be a slow choke. He's going to try to slow choke him here.
Pardoel hoping to get the choke, looking to end it. Parker defenseless right now on his back.
Steve, I really don't see any way out for Parker.
Well, he himself says he has absolutely no ground experience, and with Remco on top of him, this really is poor position for Parker. Steve Boucher holds Parker's towel in the corner, and he either will toss that in or Parker will submit if Remco can get either a submission or get this slow choke to work.
Referee John McCarthy telling Pardoel to keep working. He wants Parker to keep working as well. And Parker punches.
I'm surprised Remco hasn't tried to reach and grab either Parker's gi or his own and try to choke him with it. Keep it going. That's how Gracie beat Remco when they met in an earlier UFC.
Almost 3 minutes in. Pardoel has got 2 wins in the UFC over Alberto Leon and Orlando Beach.
Oh, here it comes. He's trying to get the arm under. Now he'll have an over-under lock here. He can start a choke. He'll lock on his own knee now. That's it.
Pardoel did the job. It was slow, methodical, but effective.
You called it, Jim.
3:05, the official time.
Good job, both. Good job. Stand over here.
Remco Pardoel from the very beginning, dominating, and then just getting the choke finally.
Once he got his hand on his gi, because these fighters use that gi for grip. Once he gripped his gi, he was able to initiate the choke.
Here's a look at it, Dragon.
Now, we're starting right now from the takedown. Very good hip throw right here. This is just basic judo. Rolls him over. He's on the top, superior position.
And another look at the effort by Parker from his back, but he couldn't get any leverage or any power on those punches. And here's a look at the tap out at the end.
You can see the left hand has grabbed the gi, and there's the tap.
Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Big John McCarthy calls a halt to this match following a submission signal from Ryan Parker, the winner, and now advancing from Os in the Netherlands, Remco Pardoel.
Well, he's only lost once in the UFC, and that was far from a disgrace. He lost to 3-time champion Royce Gracie in the semifinals of UFC 2. Remco is back and off to an effective start. So Remco Pardoel is into the semifinals. We've got one more quarterfinal left, and we would think the favorite of this competition, Marco Ruas, he's up next against Larry Cureton. Michael Buffer for the formal particulars.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here at UFC 7, this is match number 4. Once again, your referee is Big John McCarthy. Introducing first, to my left, he's 6 feet 1 inches tall and weighs in at 210 pounds. He's a 4-time Brazilian Muay Thai champion, state heavyweight boxing champion, and reigning Brazilian Vale Tudo champion. Undefeated in bare-knuckle matches from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the king of the streets, Marco Ruas. And his opponent across the octagon returning. He is the FFKA North American Super Heavyweight Kickboxing Champion with a professional record of 17-5, 15 by KO. He also holds a black belt in Shotokan Karate. He's 35 years old, 6 feet 2, weighs 248 pounds, fighting out of Jersey City, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Thunderfoot Cureton.
Here's a look at the tail of the tape. Ruas' age unknown. Ruas with a 38-pound disadvantage in weight, but folks, I would not blink here because this one could be quick if Ruas is as good as they say.
Are you ready? Let's get it on.
He has ground attack to his advantage. Larry Cureton not well versed at all on the ground, and that's immediately what Marcos Ruas goes for, and he's in a chokehold here.
Oh, what a drop by Ruas. Cureton tries to roll him, but can't.
Some power there by Ruas, but nothing yet. No submission, no lock.
Well, Cureton has no ground experience to speak of, and he doesn't know what to do from here. I am sure of that.
Trying to elbow from the canvas. Ruas continuing to work for control, and now Cureton spins him, but look out. Ruas might be even better from the ground. A big right from the kickboxer, Larry Cureton.
We've seen fighters before who are actually comfortable in this lower position.
Keep it working.
Ruas has actually fought Rickson Gracie to a draw. That's what has been rumored. It was a draw. And certainly, if you fought the Gracies, you've learned the guard.
Right, he's doing what he should be, keeping the fighter on top close to him so he can't get up and strike.
This might even be close to some kind of a choke. Not really.
Big right hand belted in there by Cureton.
If Cureton keeps hitting that spot, he can soften up Ruas.
This is a good place to have him, pinched up against that fence. You'd rather have him head first into the fence and not sideways to it. They're starting to lay against it. This will work against Cureton. It's going to remove one of his sides, having any kind of leverage to punch with.
So Ruas having to work from his back. And Larry Cureton coming out and using that big increase in weight, about 18 pounds in the last UFC, to his advantage.
Right, he's got a good position right here. I'm surprised.
Oh, submission on the arm attempt there. Unable to get it. It seemed that Cureton had a guillotine choke going right away when Ruas picked him up and slammed him. Oh, he missed and hit the canvas with that punch.
But he's smart enough to go right in with the headbutt behind it.
2 minutes in, and Cureton continues to surprise. Hanging in there, landing a right to the face. Not much that time.
Don, what kind of combinations can you throw beside hand-hand? Can you do hand, headbutt, hand, elbow?
Well, I would say if you back up and you throw the hand, you can come in right behind it with the head. And that gives you a little momentum. There's a head.
Headbutt by Cureton.
Well, Cureton almost got rolled there.
Yep, Ruas almost rolled him off that fence.
Keep it working, guys. Keep it going.
Big John McCarthy employing the fighters to keep working.
There, he's got a little distance there for that right hand.
Cureton landing the right to the stomach again. Now this is a more physical Larry Cureton.
Oh, leg lock.
Look out.
He's looking for a leg lock. That's going to go against the knee. Oh, that was a straight kick to Cureton's face.
Watch his leg.
Look at the size of Ruas's feet.
Those hands are huge, and so are the feet.
And that leg lock is not close.
He's got a lock on his knee.
It's not fully in there yet because Cureton's up against the fence.
Now he gets Cureton
That's
down.
going to do it.
That's it.
Look out, Cureton's got the tap, and he does. What a wonderful showing by Cureton. And Ruas has the win. 323. Wonderful hug. It's what makes the UFC. I don't know if Ruas expected to expend that much energy in this bout. It was a good one.
Right, I'll say Cureton really put up a heck of a fight for a guy who was not a ground fighter. I mean, for a guy with just stand-up fighting skills, he lasted quite a ways, and maybe his superior. There's really where he had Ruas. If he had not let that happen,
Wow.
he would have been in good position. But once they got on the ground, it was Ruas's fight.
Here's Cureton almost rolling and then completing the roll to the top position after being leveled early. And Cureton did throw some good punches, landed a couple to the stomach, couple to the head.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was just instinct.
Here's the tap out, Don.
When you get caught in this, there's no choice. When you go against the joint, he's got the ankle, he's got the knee, instant tap out.
Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, following a submission signal from Larry Cureton, referee Big John McCarthy has to call a halt to the bout. The winner of one of the most exciting bouts here tonight, the king of the streets, Marco Ruas. And a hand for Larry Cureton. Let's hear it for him.
Marco Ruas is into the semifinals. He had to work for it. Here's a look at what has unfolded thus far. Paul Varelans with a tap out, advancing when Harris tapped out at 1:07. Elbows were the key in that bout. Mark Hall, 1:42, a tap out by Harold Howard, so he advances. Remco Pardoel with a choke, 3:05, the time of that win over Ryan Parker. And Marco Ruas, 3:23, Longest bout of the first round, submission leg hold, was the advantage to Marco Ruas. Here's the matchup of our first semifinal. Paul Varelans and Mark Hall, neither was in the octagon long. Varelans for 1:07, Mark Hall for 1:42, and the Polar Bear is ready to take center stage. Here's Michael Buffer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on. This is the battle between the winners of matches 1 and 2 here at UFC number 7. Once again, the man in charge of the action, your referee, Big John McCarthy. Introducing to my left, a black belt in the art of trap fighting, 25 years old, 6 feet 8, 300 pounds, living and fighting out of Sunnyvale, California, a native of Fairbanks, Alaska. Once again, the Polar Bear, Paul Varelans. And his opponent across the octagon, a third-degree black belt in the art of Muay Do, a black belt in Taekwondo, a black belt in American Karate, an amateur kickboxing record of 5-0, 3 KOs, 34 years old, 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, from Murrieta, California, he is Mark Hall.
It's a classic case of David versus Goliath. 110-pound difference in weight. Here's a look at the tail of the tape.
Trap fighting, big age difference here, and that might work in Varelans' advantage, but the height and the weight belong to Varelans.
Semifinal action about to commence in UFC 7.
Are you ready? Let's get it on!
Let's see
Varelans across the octagon, and he eats a right hand from Hall.
this is where Hall wants him, in tight.
Varelans brings him down. Good head grip.
That's a straight headlock, no arm in there, and that's very, very tight. He could literally pull the head off here if he can get the right kind of leverage, get that big body all the way out to the side and stay perpendicular to him.
This is not where Hall wants to be. This is about the worst position to start from for Hall's style of fighting.
Varelans trying to free that left hand and land some punches.
Well, the arm's now in the lock. That'll take some of the pressure off of the neck.
Watch your fighter!
Varelans continuing to move for better position.
Varelans here should just kind of relax.
Watch the elbow. That's his punctuation mark. If he can get it free.
Oh, there it is.
That's it.
That's a great key lock. Perfect wrestling hold there. Key lock, able to torque the elbow and shoulder. Paul had it submit.
104, a key lock by Paul Varelans, and Mark Hall had to tap out.
Well, you know, Bruce, when you say they have to tap out, there's no question. That's exactly the position they're in. If they don't tap out, there's going to be some type of damage done to a ligament, a tendon, or maybe even a break of the bone. It's not a matter of this guy's a quitter or he can't take it. A position like that, his arm is about to break, and there's no choice for a fighter.
Oh, the Polar Bear is celebrating. Grizzly and fired up. Here's Michael Buffer.
John McCarthy, seeing a submissive signal from Mark Hall, calls a halt to the match. The winner, and now advancing to the final match of the UFC 7, Paul Varelans.
That experience from UFC 6 has served him well, and he does not waste time. He goes across the octagon and engages with the other fighter as quick as he can.
Absolutely. And you know that when you talk about the experience, anybody who enters this thing without wrestling, grappling experience is making a big mistake. If you can't fight on the ground, you're in trouble here.
Here's a look at the semifinal, which will unfold shortly. Remco Pardoel from the Netherlands, Marco Ruas from Brazil. This gives you a feel of the total international flavor of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Michael Buffer will introduce our fighters.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is our second semi-final match. The winner of this event will face Paul Varelans for the Ultimate Fighting Championship 7. Once again, your referee is Big John McCarthy. Introducing first, to my left, a veteran of UFC from Austin, Netherlands. He holds multiple black belts in practically every part of Europe. He is a jiu-jitsu champion, a two-time German champion, a two-time Dutch champion, a two-time Junior Netherlands champion. He is the former world jiu-jitsu champion. Ladies and gentlemen, 6'4", 265 pounds, Remco Pardoel. And his opponent across the octagon, 6'1", 210 pounds, four-time Brazilian Muay Thai champion, a state heavyweight boxing champion, and reigning Brazilian Vale Tudo champion, undefeated in bare knuckle matches, once again from Rio de Janeiro, the king of the streets, Marco Ruas.
Well, there's no doubt that Pardoel is younger. By how many years, we don't know. 3-inch height advantage to Remco. He's also got the 55 pounds. What do you guys expect? Quickly, Jeff.
I think Ruas in a submission lock.
Don?
You know, I'd have to go with Pardoel. I mean,
right.
he's got the experience as far as the jiu-jitsu and the judo, and I think he can handle himself on the ground.
I like it. A split broadcast crew. John McCarthy getting set to get the fighters rolling.
One observation, I saw Ruas grab, look at his right hand repeatedly after that first fight.
Pardoel wears the gi. The winner takes on Varelans.
Pardoel says he's experienced in Taekwondo, but I haven't seen him kick yet.
A long staring down process, a feeling out thing. You see it in boxing a lot. Kicks delivered by Ruas. Pardoel comes in. Remco grabs his head.
He's got his hand in there. There's no way that's going to be a chokehold. He's got his fingers underneath it. I don't think he's got the leverage to really choke.
No, he doesn't quite have his arm under there.
Ruas
But
biting
that's what he's going for. He's definitely got the leg hooked under, so he could just arch and tighten it up.
Ruas actually looked up. Seems pretty calm in there. Pardoel isn't very far away, though, from making that a guillotine. He's got the arm across underneath the chin, but really not hitting deep. It's not very deep. You're right, Don.
Pardoel has Ruas backed up against the chain link fence.
It's more his wrist. The end of his hand is underneath the chin. If he gets the arm under, it could be a different story.
Is Ruas being patient here, Jeff, or is he in trouble?
Ruas is being patient. He's waiting to see what Pardoel will try and attempt, but I think Pardoel is also playing that same game. He doesn't want to give up that lock. He's very close to making it a good choke. So he's kind of in there, kind of waiting to see what Ruas does. So it's sort of a feeling out right here. Obviously, the advantage right now is Pardoel.
This is two experienced grapplers here. Neither one wants to give too much. They don't want to make a mistake at this level right here.
I guarantee you, Ruas knows that fence is there, and that's why he's leaning against it. That's what's holding him up. Otherwise, he'd fall right down right now, and that pressure would go to his head.
Ruas using his right leg to lock the left leg of Pardoel. Now Pardoel breaks away. Pardoel still working on the neck of Marco Ruas.
Pardoel's left arm here might start to really fatigue with that kind of a lock and straining to bring it up and arching your back. That arm could eventually slowly fatigue.
Remember, the referee has the ability to restart the bout if he doesn't see movement or action.
You know, something I've always wondered, what happens if Ruas stomped the big toe of Pardoel? Honest to God, what would that do?
I tell you, these guys are conditioned mentally to take pain. I mean, I'm not really sure. I've been surprised at the punishment these guys have taken it as it is. It's worth a try, though. I think if I was in that position, I might try it.
Would certainly limit the mobility you have after you go ahead and do that.
You've been working.
Well, we've seen ground grappling before. We've seen fighters engaged in a tussle for a long time on the mat, but not standing up like this. Crowd is anticipating action. They're restless right now.
They seem a little bit restless, but right here, this is an important situation for Pardoel. He really does have a threat going. Ruas doing an excellent job of blocking it, but it's really fairly close to sinking in there. And that's why Pardoel isn't letting it go. That could be trouble.
Yeah, it's really in there now. As a matter of fact, if he was to arch, really, if he had a good grip and he arched right now, I think...
Pardoel trying to get the choke on Marco Ruas. But Ruas is not panicking. Down the dragon nuances of the martial arts right here. Little things.
It's always the little things.
Oh, and one of the reasons it's not tight is Pardoel's right arm is around Ruas's left arm, which means the arm's in that lock. It can't be that tight. It can't be that tight. He's got to be around the head.
He's got to be inside that arm.
That's exactly it. It's not going to be a tight choke.
Come on, let's go, let's go.
We saw it on the monitor, and I just saw it when they briefly turned towards me, but that was blocked from our view initially. That is why that guillotine choke is not working.
You know what?
It's not a full guillotine choke yet.
From being a striker, yes. I was just going to say I would start pumping the knees into the groin, into the thighs, because the thighs are very vulnerable.
And that's what Remco Pardoel is doing right now.
Yes. It's about all he's got to strike.
Oh, there's the stop top.
There's the heel.
There's that toe stomp.
I don't know how he did it.
There it is again.
I think he heard you, Jeff.
And now a knee put back by Pardoel. Referee John McCarthy once again telling the guys to work.
I say, why not? This is anything goes.
They're working. I'd hate to see this broken up. You know, there's...
Ruas stops on the feet of Pardoel again. The left foot of Remco. And that time he missed.
Well, I guarantee you one thing. It got Pardoel's attention. You would think something like that is insignificant in a fight, but it does add up. This is going to be an attrition battle.
Definitely.
And down goes both fighters. Remco still's got a hold in there. Ruas on the mat where he wants to be.
If he curls into a ball, I think he might be able to even get out of this.
That's exactly what he's trying to do. There it is.
Nice move by Ruas. And he's out of the hole.
He is out. Let's see Ruas here.
So now it's Marco Ruas' battle.
Now they've got to think. You know, it's a game of chess out there right now.
I think Ruas now is going to make sure that his pressure stabilizes. He's totally clear-headed and focused. He was in what we call a front headlock in wrestling for an awful long time.
So now it is Ruas who is the hunter, not the hunted. 6:30 in. The winner takes on Paul Varelans in the final of UFC 7. John McCarthy telling the fighters to work. I think they expended a lot of energy standing up.
One advantage for Ruas is he can grab the gi of Pardoel to keep him from punching, and that's what he's doing to Pardoel's right hand. He's got the gi.
Talking non-stop.
He's got the gi. He's going to slowly work his way up, try to get in the punching range, or maybe submission on a leg here.
I think he's going for the leg.
There it is.
Ruas has the leg.
And again, the fighting from the back being a very effective tactic.
Ruas knocking him away with the left hand. He's got the left wrist.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
how composed both these athletes are. Look at how composed they are. They're willing to wait. They're willing to feel it out.
By far the best match of the night. Most evenly matched.
Ruas grabs the gi again.
Oh, he's got the ankle.
He's starting to get it.
He's getting it.
And Pardoel fights his way back.
Well, his only choice is to crowd up like he's doing it. He needs to get close to Ruas. He can't sit back like that if he gets his ankle.
Ruas trying to roll over and arch his back using that extra leverage.
Over 8 minutes in.
On his back, he arches into the mat, which prevents him from getting full extension. But if you turn to his belly, he can really get great extension.
It's Ruas, the Brazilian, against Pardoel, the Dutchman who trained in Brazil.
You know, what I think needs to happen from here is he needs to do some striking. There's an open thigh there, and he can be punching that and doing some damage to Ruas. If nothing else, distract him, get his attention off that ankle.
It's working.
Pardoel looks amazingly composed and full of vinegar. He does not look winded. Ruas looks like he's using more energy.
Oh, and Pardoel got out of the lock, but not out of the guard.
9 minutes in.
Great fight. Great fight. This is what the UFC is about. Strategy, tactic, and discipline. And we're seeing all of it right here.
Come on, let's work. Let's go.
There is a 20-minute time limit in the quarterfinals and the semifinals. If for some reason this ended in a draw, both fighters would not advance. An alternate would be summoned to take on Paul Varelans in the championship of UFC 7. Still a long way from there as Ruas lands a big left. Missed that time.
I'll tell you what, Pardoel trying to get his head out of the way, hit the mat with a lot of force. It was almost as though he got hit twice.
I'll tell you what, this is what Pardoel should be doing. He needs to keep Ruas close so he can't strike.
Ruas like a man stalking prey. Measuring his opponent.
Keep working. Keep it working. Come on.
He's working. He's patiently working.
Both of them are. That neither one wants to make a mistake and give it away. They're both that talented. What an even match.
Pardoel has a 55-pound advantage on Ruas.
I'm very impressed with the way Ruas has been using the gi to his advantage. He grabs the legs, he grabs the sleeves, he grabs every portion of the gi he uses as a grip. You see him grabbing the legs now, pants, you see that? Controlling him with his gi.
That's interesting because Royce Gracie uses his own gi as an offensive tool, Jeff.
Certainly he does, both in terms of grip to keep a person near him and also as a weapon for a choke.
11 minutes plus in. 20-minute time limit.
It looks like Ruas wants up.
What is Ruas looking for here?
Probably to try to beat a leg, just like that, turn the corner, and now come close into the neck. Very nicely done by Ruas. Now let's see what he can do from there. And it's interesting, a lot of these fighters cross their leg when they're in the bottom position.
A knee landed by Ruas, another knee. It'll chop away with you a little bit.
Let it go. Come on.
There's not enough on that to get a submission.
Keep working. Let's go.
I think it takes more energy than it's worth.
He's looking for something. He's reaching inside the gi of Pardoel. Unless that hand got caught in there and Pardoel wants to keep it in there by holding that gi collar up so Marcos can't pull the hand out.
12 minutes in. Marco Ruas on the top. Remco Pardoel with the gi on the bottom.
Keep working.
Ruas is sweating profusely.
Keep working. We got 8 minutes left. Let's go, gentlemen.
I guarantee you Pardoel is sweating too. We just can't see it.
Oh, not with the gi on.
Ruas trying to work himself up for a choke.
There it is.
Tap out.
Oh, I don't understand what happened.
I don't know if he just physically wore down. Was there a choke, guys?
I didn't see a choke.
I did not see a choke.
There was no choke.
job.
12:27 the time,
Good job.
and this
You did
one
an
ends
outstanding
rather strangely.
The only thing I can think there is that he was in a position to absorb blows and he decided not to take them.
That could have been it, but
Let's go up to Michael Buffer for the announcement.
Following the submission signal from Remco Pardoel, referee John McCarthy calls a halt. The winner, and advancing to the final against Paul Varelans, the king of the streets of Rio de Janeiro, Michael Ruas.
12 minutes, 27 seconds. Big hug there, but after a very close bout, from beginning to end, all of a sudden Remco Pardoel tapped out. Now, I don't know if he just wore down or he saw no chance to get out of that.
well, I can't see one of these UFC
know.
fighters just quitting because of anticipated punishment.
Absolutely.
I mean, they knew there was punishment to be dealt out when they entered the ring, so I can't see them getting in a bad position and then just tapping out.
Physical exhaustion possibly done?
No, he did not look that tired.
I know he didn't look it.
I've got to see the replay. Here we go. I believe this is the first initial start of the bouts here where there was a takedown. No, this is the headlock. Actually, he was in a good position here.
And they stood on their feet for, the better part of 8 or 9 minutes. And finally, they hit the ground.
Right. Neither fighter really was positive if he would end up in a superior position than the other one. I think that's what took so long for the takedown.
This is the beautiful reversal by Ruas.
Right. He gets the reversal, gets his head out of the lock.
And here's the tap out. Let's see if we can see what happened. There it is.
I still did not see it.
Coming up, the super fight, Shamrock against Taktarov. Taktarov, the world Sambo champion. Ken Shamrock, the Japanese pancrase shoot fighting champion. So Michael Buffer will introduce the super fighters right now.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, SEG Sports Corporation presents the Russian Bear versus The Rock. This is the UFC 7 Superfight. Your referee in charge once again will be Big John McCarthy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Buffalo, New York, are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first to my left, from Gorky, Russia, fighting out of Dallas, Texas. He holds a 4th degree black belt in the art of jiu-jitsu. He's a 4-time European and Asian jiu-jitsu champion, Russian national judo champion, world sambo champion, and he is the reigning ultimate fighting champion, 6 feet tall, 215 pounds, the Russian Bear, Oleg Taktarov. And his opponent across the octagon, representing the art of shoot fighting, from Lockford, California. He's the Pancrase Association World Champion, 31 years old, 6 feet tall, 215 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the defending UFC Superfight champion, the master of the octagon, he is Ken Shamrock.
A 30-minute time limit with a 5-minute overtime. 50,000 to the winner, 25,000 to the loser, 30,000 if it's a draw for each. Shamrock 31, Taktarov 27. The weight the same, the height equal.
It's just a matter of technique and who is on tonight.
All right, it's for the best of the best. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on!
Super fight underway. Shamrock and Taktarov.
Shamrock said early on in the interview that he was going to use his jab, he's going to use some punching before he got into the grappling. Let's see if he sticks to his game plan.
Neither one really wanting to close the distance. Too. A little left hand there by Shamrock. No damage, just an attention getter.
These two sparred together in the past. Now they're doing it for real in the octagon.
Seems as though Taktarov's trying a little bit of foot sweep action there, both inside and outside. Short kicks, low to the ankle.
Come on, let's get it going. Come on.
Long feeling out process. Shamrock goes to the top.
They're in the guard. Taktarov got the legs wrapped now. Now it's going to be a slow attrition battle. This might end up with John breaking it and bringing them back to their feet. It'll be a matter of how much Shamrock tries to do in here.
Well, we know Oleg wanted this. He wanted to get on the ground. He didn't want to stay up and punch and kick.
Shamrock punching to the kidney. And Taktarov doing what he usually does on the ground, punching to the back of the head, this time of Shamrock.
Can you use a thumb in the throat, Don? Is that an effective way to choke?
No, I don't think so. I really, with your arms in the position that his are, with the conditioning that Shamrock's got, I don't think it's gonna do much except get his attention. I don't think it's gonna get him to quit.
Shamrock with a headbutt. It was kind of to the side, wasn't straight above his head.
You gotta be very careful with a headbutt. You could end up cutting yourself just as easily.
Absolutely. 2 minutes in.
Keep working. Come on, keep it working.
Taktarov in the guard.
Without doubt. This is a waiting game now. Shamrock knows after his fight with Gracie how to neutralize the guard. It's just that Taktarov knows the guard is a defensive position. He's going to wait. He has done a little bit of punching to the back of the head, what they call rabbit punching, but I don't really think that's going to have much effect against Shamrock.
Shamrock landed a decent right hand to the face of Taktarov, and again tries a headbutt. Another headbutt by Shamrock. Shamrock's going to have to be the aggressor here because he knows Taktarov would prefer to just wait and find his spot.
Well, does that mean Taktarov is fighting, or does that mean Taktarov wants to lay there?
I don't know.
A couple real good rib shots there by Shamrock.
Headbutt by Shamrock. Again, it's to the side.
It's the cheek. He's catching Oleg right there on that right cheek.
And remember, Oleg opened up a cut over his eye in his first UFC 5. And we don't know how well that healed.
It's above his left eye, and that was one of the things people worried about. If Oleg got cut, it doesn't matter how tough you are, a doctor can stop the fight.
Again, punches to the kidney by Shamrock. And punches to the back of the head by Taktarov.
I'll tell you what, that's going to hurt his hand. I mean, you're punching a real tough area of the head. All bone.
Keep it working. Come on, Oleg, let's go. Come on, Oleg, let's work.
I've broken my hands with gloves on 10 times. I can tell you that the skull is more than a match for the hand.
Again, the headbutt by Shamrock to the cheek. Crowd getting restless. It doesn't take much for these Buffalo fans to ask for action.
You know, there is a lot of action going on out there.
All these little punches, rabbit punches, they're kind of getting into a rhythm in which is setting up their opponent to try to go to something else. Once you create a routine, it's easy to fall into it, and then all of a sudden you could change tactic, maybe surprise the opponent and really catch him.
Right, it's kind of a softening up process.
Shamrock is very comfortable here.
He's digging those shots to the ribs.
Getting a bit of leverage on those.
Shamrock landing with the right hand.
Keep it working, come on. Doing good.
I always wondered, a knee right to the tailbone. What would a knee to the tailbone do?
Well, it wouldn't do anything good, but from the position his legs are outside, he can't get to that tailbone right now.
This is the way Taktarov started against David Tank Abbott.
It seemed as though Taktarov wanted to circle his body towards the middle of the octagon, like he didn't want to get pinned up against the fence.
Shamrock trying to free that right hand.
That's great awareness, knowing where you are in the octagon, not wanting to get pushed up against the chain link fence, maybe give Shamrock a bit more leverage. Seems Kenny now starting to create some distance here, maybe look for an opportunity.
And you saw Taktarov reach for the ankle. He has said several times that he could have broken a limb of Shamrock's in the gym when they trained together. He was hoping to exploit that tonight. We'll see.
He's got that elevator position. One leg is underneath. He's going to use that to try to create leverage to try and turn Shamrock over to his back.
6 minutes in, right hand by Shamrock. He had a big right hand against Gracie, and their super fight.
Boy, when he puts his toes on that chain link fence, that is a wide open shot anywhere near the tailbone, the crotch, even the leg.
Shamrock setting himself up for a headbutt, maybe, Don?
Well, I think what Shamrock needs to do is get a little clearer from Oleg and just surprise him, come in very quick with that head. It's not going to happen if they're just grappling. He's got to get free if he's really going to use it. I mean, it's going to do nothing but irritate him and over a period of time cause damage. If he wants to get a good shot, it takes distance. That's one thing you know as a striker. You can get yourself too close to an opponent to do any damage.
How about an open hand to the ear, Don? Maybe, you know, pop an eardrum, that kind of a thing? You said you've ruptured eardrums before.
Right. I think he could do some damage, but, you know, I think in a position like this, there's so much leveraging, and there it is. That's the kind of sneak technique I think he needs to do. More of get back, get away, and then come in with something.
Some people may wonder, well, why doesn't he just throw punches? It's because when he starts to really get the leverage and pull that arm back to throw it, Taktarov feels it coming.
Right, he could actually possibly reverse on him if he gets back too far.
Exactly.
So Taktarov using the fence as leverage, and now Shamrock trying to move him off the fence. Taktarov again peppering away at the back of Shamrock's head. And it's still Taktarov on the mat, Shamrock on top. 8 minutes into the super fight.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Shamrock freed the right hand there.
Good shot.
Another one.
That's what he needs to do.
Short chopping right.
It won't take too many of those to the face, the soft tissue of the face around the eyes, the nose. If he pops the nose, it's going to really disorient Taktarov.
The other threat is a cut. He has been cut before.
Right. Headbutt Shamrock. Delivered closer to the eye. Right around the eyebrow.
He's trying a pressure point. I don't really...
Another headbutt by Shamrock.
I'll tell you though, Oleg's got that square face. He seems so tough. It's almost as though these shots really aren't having an effect on him. He's got two very well-conditioned athletes, very tough athletes in the mental sense, and then of course great tacticians.
And you also have Taktarov in a position where he's best, on his back.
Come on, let's get it going.
John McCarthy telling the fighters to get it going. Shamrock, good solid body
shot.
blow.
That was a good shot.
You can almost hear the percussion out here. Hear that thump.
Another right hand by Shamrock, and he's doubling up on it. So often in boxing, you hear cornermen saying, double up, triple up on that punch. Usually it's the jab, but here it's the right hand by Shamrock.
You know, by the same token, Taktarov is going to the back of that head. I mean, he's been hitting it for 10 minutes now. With his palm, he's hit it with his fist.
Well, he's changed it to the palm. It seems as though he's not going to hit it with the knuckles anymore.
Well, they could be injured by now.
Now, we heard you yesterday, Don the Dragon Wilson, saying use that palm. I use that palm so often.
Right, well, you know, we use it in martial arts to break bricks, boards, everything else. I mean, it only makes sense that you'd rather use that than the knuckles of your fist against the head.
Those are big, solid right-hand body.
That's what I meant. You see, he almost snuck in a right to the jaw then. And he goes to the body and then go to the jaw. It's a standard practice for a striker. If you want to hit the head, hit the body first. Get the attention there, then you sneak one in.
Solar plexus, plexus. There's the shot to the head. Good call. Bob Shamrock, Kenny Shamrock's dead, watching from his corner, holding the towel, actually wearing it. He'll never throw that in unless Kenny's in a very, very dangerous position.
I used to always joke when I fought that don't bring a towel, bring a shovel. You can't fight barehanded.
Bob Shamrock opened up the home for boys way back in 1968. Since that day, he's had over 800 sons come into the home. Foster children found a safe haven in the Shamrock's home. In 1977, Ken, a troubled 13-year-old, was adopted, learned discipline, dedication, and love under the roof of Bob Shamrock.
And the one cardinal rule Shamrock doesn't want to do, and I'm sure he won't do it, is reach back and try to throw one of Taktarov's legs by him, thinking that he can get out of this guard position, maybe improve it, because as you take your arm back and throw one leg by, you leave your other one behind to be submitted. Sometimes Taktarov will bring one leg all the way up close to Shamrock's shoulder, and it's almost as though he's baiting him just to hook it. And when he does that, that leaves his trailing arm in a very vulnerable position.
Ken Shamrock up top, Oleg Taktarov on the mat. As the super fight continues, Taktarov chopping away at the head again with the palm. And Shamrock content to play the position from above.
Love to ask one of these fighters right now, would they rather go back to their feet, except in this guard position, you know, Taktarov really has no recourse unless Shamrock makes a mistake.
No blood on the canvas. 12 and a half minutes in, and the crowd gets restless again as Shamrock nails a right hand to the face of Taktarov.
He needs to get that distance for a good strike. But you know, he's gotten far enough to land a good, solid elbow if he would just use one.
I wonder if he thinks if he misses and drops to the side of Taktarov's head, if that's enough momentum going sideways, that Taktarov might be able to reverse positions.
Maybe that's it.
Certainly in this position, you're not going to see any big blows. None of them has to make a mistake.
Well, the big rule for a puncher is get your body behind a punch, and you can't from this ground position.
And Don, are you less likely to get a good, clean, hard blow in there because you can't take the chance defensively of exposing yourself?
Well, absolutely. If you back up too much, he's going to get away from you. But you have to back up a little bit to get some distance to throw a punch. So you're in a catch-22. I see blood coming from Oleg at this point.
It looks as though on his left eye, side of his eye.
That's where the punishment was before in UFC 5.
There it is, the right hand.
There it is. And that is the area where Oleg suffered a cut in UFC 5.
And you got to believe that as soon as Shamrock sees that blood,
He'll go for it.
he's going to take his head, move it to the other side, and start those little headbutts. And there it is.
I'm telling you, I think these guys got an earpiece. They're listening to you, Jeff.
Well, it's the same tactic he used against Gracie. He caught Gracie, gave him a mouse, and he turned that mouse into a watermelon. By the end of the fight, even though it became a draw, it looked as though Gracie had lost.
Another headbutt by Shamrock in there. Right hand to the head of Oleg Taktarov by Ken Shamrock.
Conditioning now will become a factor. They've gone long enough, and oh, John's going to break it and bring him up.
John McCarthy separates the fighters close to the 15-minute mark.
Get ready to go.
And I would think Taktarov's got to be careful right at the beginning of this.
Right, he looks more...
Get it going.
There's a huge welt on the right side of Taktarov's face.
He looks quite a bit worse for the wear and tear.
There's a huge welt.
You ready? Well, let's get it on. Come
Here
on.
they go again. Back on their feet. Shamrock and Taktarov.
Either side of the face now of Taktarov is very vulnerable. Oh, a punch right there on the release would have been beautiful.
You know, Ken's not a great puncher because he could be throwing some stiff jabs right now and really opening those cuts up. Short right there.
And back we go again to the guard.
This is where Taktarov wants to be, especially now. He knows he's vulnerable. It's not a question of whether he feels pain or whether he wants to get up.
Wow, there's the huge welt, as you said, on the right side of Taktarov's face, close to the eye, and he's got the bleeding from the left eye. Either way, he's going to be a bloody mess at the end of this night.
Look for the headbutts again.
One thing we said about Taktarov, he has an incredible threshold of pain.
Well, he's smart enough to keep Ken as close to him as possible when he's in this position. Come on! To keep him from getting that distance to throw the punches.
You always, I've read in many books, and Don, I'm sure you've heard it, in the martial arts world, it's always been rumored that you can give that vital strike where you can hit the person, but it doesn't show up for a while later. Is this possible from this position, or is that just folklore?
I think that's kind of movie magic, we call it. I don't think there is any soft spot that you can hit that will work later on or wherever.
Come on.
That blood will start sneaking into the left eye of Taktarov, but if it does, his vision will become impaired. Shamrock with a right hand to the solar plexus. I mean, he nailed it right on the button.
Those shots are going to take the wind and the endurance out of Oleg.
And those punches will last with you for the whole night. It's the accumulation in the stomach.
Come on, let's work.
Eventually you lose your air.
Body shots have the effect of just basically taking all your endurance and conditioning right away from you.
The great boxing trainers will tell you if you keep working the stomach, eventually the guy will go easily. Shamrock with a right to the head.
Softened up that body and went right back to the head.
It almost looks like there's a second cut above the first one now.
Taktarov is right now taking a tremendous amount of punishment.
Right, he cannot really launch anything offensive from this position.
Unless Shamrock tries to back out. It's only a counter position. Shamrock exposed that in the Gracie fight.
Shamrock's going for it. Another headbutt.
He'll keep trying to keep the bleeding going.
He's just grinding his forehead into it.
Shamrock with a methodical attack. Nothing huge, just steady, combative, solid action.
Come on, get it going.
John McCarthy doesn't like it. He wants more action.
Well, you'd like to see something out of there, and really that puts the impetus on Shamrock. He's on top of everything. You can see the blood on the knuckles of Shamrock now. And you notice Taktarov has not struck Shamrock in the back of the head in quite some time. You wonder if he's either his arms are tired or if his knuckles are sore or maybe potentially broken.
What is Shamrock working for there, Jeff?
He's looking for the right hand again. He's trying to load up that right hand and give it a shot. There's a good shot to the neck. Look at that.
Let's go.
He could really bring one around. Just there you go.
I really feel when he rears back like that, he gets that much distance. If he snuck in a tight elbow, forearm into the face, it would do more damage than just the knuckles of his fist. He's just kind of gotten into the habit of just sneaking this right in there. But that elbow is right there for him to land.
See if Shamrock.
He's got room again. He's going to come in with that right. There it is.
Shamrock loads up on the right. There's the headbutt. It's like a 1-2. Right hand, headbutt. right hand headbutt.
It's the combination of different body parts we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Smart tactic.
And right now, if he's going to go back to this body, I think, because he needs to get Taktarov to release this lock on him if he's going to do any more punches to the head.
Oh, big right hand by Shamrock.
Good shot, and that got the release.
And he's talking to Taktarov now. And Oleg does not look good as the blood continues to stream.
Oleg is so tough. You have to give him so much credit.
Come on, let's keep it going.
He's taking such pounding.
Well, you know, Ali used to have the habit of talking to opponents, and it psychologically demoralized them.
Bob Shamrock looking on.
Look for Taktarov here. He looks like he has double overhooks. This is a wrestling position. He might be able to reverse Shamrock if Shamrock's momentum and center of gravity move too close to Taktarov's head.
Up, here we go again. Up on their feet. Shamrock has some swelling a little bit on the left side of his face, close to the eye. This is the second reset. It's at the 20-20 mark.
I want you to work.
From the looks of him, I think fatigue-wise, Shamrock has the advantage. He's not quite as tired as Oleg.
Second reset. As bloody as Taktarov looks, he's still tremendously conditioned. First time I've seen Shamrock breathing a little bit.
See some punching here. I'm sure that's what Shamrock would like to do.
Shamrock's body covered by his own sweat. Taktarov's face covered by his own blood.
Boy, I can't believe Shamrock's not trying to press this. There's a good left hand. You're right, Doc. Some jabs here could do tremendous damage to an already swollen Taktarov face. Not in the guard yet. He's not in the guard. He's close to it.
He doesn't have both legs outside, though.
He's in a position where, he's really in a bad position here. Shamrock, he could get rolled. You see him posting. If his head comes too close to Taktarov's, he'll try and roll him. This is that elevator position that Taktarov has seen before.
He's
back to the guard.
Let's go, let's work.
Clearly, the offensive power has been demonstrated by Shamrock. Defensively, Taktarov's done a good job to keep himself in it.
Taktarov had a little bit of a chance there, though, Jeff, didn't he? Or was it the fact he didn't have enough power?
It was Shamrock kept his weight over his knees. He didn't lean forward. If he had leaned forward, he could have been rolled. Shamrock's wrestling ability there kept him in it. Didn't allow him to make that crucial mistake. 22
minutes into the super fight. Bruce Beck, Jeff Blatnick, Don the Dragon Wilson with you from the Octagon in Buffalo, New York. Oleg Taktarov and Ken Shamrock. Shamrock has been in that same position with Taktarov in the guard throughout this super fight. There have been 2 resets, and at 30 minutes, there will be a 5-minute overtime. Shamrock not landing those right hands as well as he did earlier.
That's because his right arm is underneath. Oleg is doing a much better job now of, instead of thinking offense, he's purely working the guard. All he's going to do is try not to get hurt. That's the first offensive punch we've seen Taktarov throw in a while.
And Shamrock answered with his own right. And another. And a short left.
You know, I like the way Shamrock kind of sneaks those punches in. You know, he doesn't rear back and telegraph them. It's 1 minute he's wrestling, the next minute it comes out of nowhere.
Comes a headbutt. Oh, this could be a good chance for a headbutt. Oh, sneak right hand again.
There it is.
Taktarov's blood around the left eye, the right cheek heavily swollen.
And there you can see why the guard is so effective. With the arms on the outside like that, it's hard for Kenny to get a punch in. Oh, good rib shot. You can feel that.
Shamrock was criticized by some who said that he tried for a draw against Gracie.
That's because Gracie has such a fan base that they all were expecting, well, why didn't Shamrock try to beat Gracie there? It's because the guard is basically designed to beat the top guy if he gets too offensive. The guard is not an offensive weapon. It's that simple. It is a defensive weapon that can be offensive if the top man makes a mistake.
I think what Ken proved, though, in that fight with Gracie is that Gracie couldn't beat him.
Exactly.
And that's an accomplishment itself.
Come on. The referee here could actually bring them back to their feet.
And the crowd boos, looking for action. Almost 25 minutes. There is a 30-minute time limit, a 5-minute overtime, and if nothing is decided, then it will end in a draw.
And I really believe at this point that's all Taktarov is trying to do. I mean, that is no criticism. In a survivalist fight, which this is, that's a smart tactic at this point.
And as far as Shamrock is concerned, Don, if he gambles, he really loses the advantage of controlling the fight, which he has right now.
Right, he doesn't want to go off balance and lose the leverage and make a mistake right now.
Against most fighters, you would think that he would have worn him down already, but Taktarov is so tenacious.
There's that thumb choke to the throat. That got Taktarov's attention. Maybe right now is the time to throw a hard. There you go. That's what you got to do. Go from choke to a punch to a headbutt, back to a choke.
Come on, let's work.
Body shot by Shamrock.
Back to working his ribs. He's working the low end. This is setting him up for the high end. There it is.
If we had punch numbers tonight, it would be about 8 or 9 to 1 in favor of Shamrock. Now back to the headbutt.
Oh, Oleg doing a little headbutt, but I'm not sure if that's so smart when you have a cut.
No, in the position he's in, he can't get his forehead under Shamrock. Basically, he'll be headbutting with his cheek.
Come on, let's work.
That blood's starting to flow again pretty well. It's leaking right up into the hair now. Oh, good left hand.
Taktarov ended up in the hospital after his last bout with Tank Abbott, but that was because of the altitude as much as anything else.
Those are good shots to the lower ribs.
Again, Shamrock chopping away, doubling up on the right hand.
Those are the shots that have gotten Oleg to totally release that head.
Exactly.
And that's what when he gets sneaks that right in, when he releases the head, he sneaks the right in. So they're definitely hurting.
Good call, Don. That's exactly what he's doing.
Come on, it's a warning. Let's go, Oleg.
See if he'll follow up with a headbutt or something, if he can get some leverage up towards Taktarov's head.
Taktarov on his back, where he has been the entire fight.
This is really all up to Shamrock now to try to solve the guard and beat Taktarov. Taktarov is not doing anything to try and win.
Get up.
And they will stand again. Third reset.
He's still ready to go. He's still ready.
Taktarov walks very slowly to his corner.
Let's get it on. Come on.
Moving much more brisky now. Taktarov bloody.
They've closed the distance with one another now. They're getting in a little bit tighter to one another. Taktarov almost caught Shamrock. Good left
There's
hand.
the jab I was talking about. He could pop him in the face all day with that.
What about a right hand from Shamrock? That's his big out punch. He used it against Gracie. Taktarov showing some punching ability. And Oleg has told us a number of occasions he likes to punch.
Working good. Let's go.
Well, neither of these guys are great punchers or kickers, but right now at this point, both of them are so softened up, I think they can land a good shot. Now they're back to the grappling again.
That's Taktarov's blood on Shamrock's left arm.
Good move by Shamrock. That's a great move by Shamrock because he got out of a wrestling position and he's allowed to strike again. He needs to go for the strikes. Really, that's what he wants. Taktarov sitting here saying, hey, what are you going to do to me? That's not the attitude. It's what are you going to do to him?
Yeah, because time is getting short here.
Shamrock's
Taktarov
nose
wants
is
to
bloody.
draw.
And that might have been from that punch that Taktarov threw just a couple moments ago. No real danger in that bloody nose. It just looks a lot worse than it is. Crowd starting to get restless at the 29-minute mark. If they go OT, it will be only 3 minutes, we are told.
Come on, let's go.
Taktarov
Get it
really
going.
seems to be going for a draw here.
Don't you kick. Don't kick. Go.
What was that? Don't kick. What was that?
I don't know.
Kicking was legal. Maybe with the shoes on, they're saying he can't do that.
Well, that could be correct.
He's got shoes.
I didn't know that was a rule.
Taktarov can kick. He's got the bare feet.
Good jab again. He really should be pumping that. 1, 2, doubling it up.
Come on, you got 30 seconds.
Well, they're not strikers. They're not boxers. They're not kickboxers. They're grapplers, really. That's their expertise. But, you know, we had figured Shamrock was the better puncher, but it really hasn't turned out that way.
And Taktarov landed a very good left right to that bloody nose of Shamrock. And Taktarov's almost excited about being on his feet. There's the horn, 30 minutes in. 3-minute OT. 3-minute OT. It will start very quickly.
Great stamina, great tacticians. This match has it all. It may not have the punching brutality and quickness of a bar fight, but in terms of martial arts science or discipline, both of these athletes are doing a superb job.
And in terms of survival,
Oh, that's the key in a fight.
top rate.
That's what Don, you're a defendo right now. That's exactly what these two are doing.
Stay right there.
Right. Well, you know, it's not that I'm not an offenso either, but defense first, offense second.
You're a
You gotta
counter
fight, you
guy.
understand?
Right.
Okay,
Ready?
Taktarov looks a lot
Let's get
better
it going.
than
Come
he
on.
did at the 22-minute mark. Maybe it's because he knows he's only got to go 3 more minutes. What he's got to watch for here is a big right from Shamrock. A pure boxing KO could knock it out. Shamrock's almost better disengaging and punching.
That was a nice headbutt too. He brought it right up. Nice knee.
Way to go. Keep it going. Good.
This is overtime. If it ends in 3 minutes, we've got a draw.
I am amazed at the stamina these two have.
Here's where something could happen. A punch. Shamrock tried to land the uppercut. He did not score.
Good tactic though. Catching Taktarov, bending his head down to avoid an overhead.
Taktarov's got to watch the straight right hand. A jab will not knock him down.
Ken needs to keep pumping that jab out there. That's what a boxer would use.
Oh, the right hand! And Taktarov barely moved.
I don't know why
Throw that
Ken,
jab out there and set up the right.
and I don't know why he didn't follow up that one right hand. Probably fatigue. Put everything in the one shot, hoping to knock him down or open up the cut.
Shamrock probably has the winning formula in that one hand. And that's probably the only way at this point.
There's blood in Taktarov's eye now. There's blood in Taktarov's eye. He's having a hard time seeing. He's squinting an awful lot now.
Knee by Shamrock. A minute 20 left in overtime.
I wonder if Shamrock even knows that Taktarov's having a hard time seeing. If he were to break clean, he'd catch it.
Keep it moving. Come on.
And that's the eye that would be susceptible to a right hand.
Look at it. Look at it. You can see him squinting. He's having a hard time seeing out of it.
That's the cut from earlier that just dribbles into the eye. Shamrock
Whoa.
breaks again and
See
lands the
that?
right.
He's trying to get out of there. Kenny must be tired. He's not pursuing.
A minute to go. Crowd getting up again. And Taktarov, smart move for him.
Taktarov retreated. He doesn't want to get hurt.
I think he's going for the draw.
Oh, he definitely is. I think he's been doing that since the 20-minute mark.
Shamrock had his biggest chance in that last minute with the blood in Taktarov's eye, and both fighters on their feet. Headbutt by Shamrock. 20 seconds to go in this super fight in UFC 7.
This is not a point fight. This is a knockout or submission fight. And unless Shamrock can do it here, even though we could say he would have won on points, he will not get the victory, and there it is.
A draw in the super fight. Shamrock and Taktarov for Taktarov a moral victory. Shamrock, there's so many punches.
We said it was an even matchup, and we predicted it. Very even.
33 minutes.
Come on.
Taktarov, amazing defensive fighter.
Very good on defense, did a great job of keeping Shamrock off of him. Shamrock did a lot of offense. If it was a point contest, Shamrock would win it.
Going
but
away.
You need a knockout. You need a knockout or a submission.
So can Shamrock and Oleg Taktarov end up in a draw?
Ladies and gentlemen, the super fight has been declared a draw. Let's hear it for Oleg Taktarov and Ken Shamrock. 33 minutes a draw.
Common respect there. Here's where we are in the championship round of UFC 7. Paul Varelans, who's already defeated Jerry Harris and Mark Hall, and Marco Ruas, who has toppled Larry Cureton and Remco Pardoel. Varelans and Ruas.
Ladies and gentlemen, SBG Sports Corporation presents the final match of the evening. This is for the Ultimate Fighting Championship 7 Championship. Once again, your referee will be Big John McCarthy. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, from the War Memorial here in Buffalo, New York, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first to my left, a black belt in the art of trap fighting. He's 25 years old and he stands in at 6 feet 8 and weighs 300 pounds. From Sunnyvale, California, by way of the icy north of Fairbanks, Alaska, he is the polar bear, Paul Varelans. And his opponent across the octagon, 6 feet 1, 210 pounds, 4-time Brazilian Muay Thai champion, state heavyweight boxing champion, and reigning Brazilian Vale Tudo champion, undefeated in bare knuckle matches, from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the king of the streets, Marco Ruas.
The winner gets the UFC 7 belt and a trip to the Ultimate December 16th in Denver.
This is what you came here
to meet
for.
the likes of Taktarov, Abbott, Hackney, Jenna, Severin, and Benito. Here we go. Finals of UFC 7, and Varelans, as usual, streaks across the octagon. Ruas shows some punching and a kick to the body.
Oh, nice combinations. Kicks and punches, one after the other. And you have to remember, Ruas has some boxing talent.
Varelans 300 pounds, Ruas 210.
This just might be too much quickness for Varelans.
You know, Ruas is the best puncher kicker that I've seen in here so far. That little demonstration there was the best kicking and punching I've seen in the event.
This is what Ruas got involved in his last fight against Pardoel, standing up against the fence.
Beautiful job of keeping himself balanced. Watch Ruas lift that leg. That takes away any kind of trip Varelans can have.
Varelans beginning to punch with the right hand.
I just think Varelans is not going to have the experience to deal with Ruas. I mean, he gets him on the ground. I think it's going to be, eventually he's going to make a mistake.
Again a kick from Ruas. And a left hand, a jab from Marco Ruas. Varelans is bloodied already in the nostril area, but he usually bleeds from there. Not unusual to see that early on.
Well, it says that Ruas is a Thai boxer, a Muay Thai, and he's demonstrating it now. He's kicking the front leg, the thigh, which is a Thai technique.
And you notice now Varelans changed his stance. He's now got that leg back. You got to wonder if that had an effect.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. That thigh is very vulnerable.
Look at how red that thigh is. If you can see that, On your screen, just above Varelans' left knee, there's a big area of red. Ooh, left cross.
Ruas showing some fine boxing skills.
David against Goliath.
Varelans with a kick.
His punches are slow. Varelans' punches are slow.
He's
Awful
moving
wide,
slowly, too. Another kick by Varelans. Got to knock the feet out from underneath Ruas.
Don, do you think Ruas is trying? Oh, look at this.
Varelans picks Ruas up, looking for a choke.
Doesn't have it. Do you think Ruas is making Varelans spend a lot of energy chasing him and all that? Now all that effort trying to pick Ruas up. You got to wonder if he is going to start to run out of gas here fairly soon.
Well, I think he would have never let go of that hold if he was in condition to hold him, because he had him around the neck.
But he also had that arm in there, Don. That's a front headlock, not a guillotine.
Varelans kicking. Ruas goes in.
Now Ruas initiates tying up. You got to wonder now if Varelans starting to suck gas.
And
Toe stopping. I love it.
that same toe popping we saw earlier. Remember, Varelans had the flu yesterday, and he may be short of gas. He's also a big fella at 300.
That's right.
His mouth is wide open. When you see that, you know you're gasping for air. The mouthpiece might fall out any minute. That's a sure sign of exhaustion.
Ruas now has to just maintain enough pressure to keep him tired and just pick his openings and continue to retreat.
I guess garlic can only go so far.
Exactly.
3:30 in.
I think it's a mistake for Ruas just to let him sit there against the fence. He should move him around, make him have to move. Spend energy. The more energy you spend, the easier it'll be to take him out.
Varelans does not want to end up on the ground. I don't think.
Not against Ruas.
Good knee by Varelans.
Ruas trying to sneak around behind. Who knows what kind of submission hold he's thinking of throwing on here.
I don't really know what he would be trying to do from behind. So maybe take him down or get behind his, get an arm around his neck. I don't know what he's.
Why wouldn't Varelans throw a left hand right there?
There he goes. Nice behind him.
There,
Varelans hanging on desperately.
and now he tries to stop, but much too smart. Jumping on him is Ruas. That protects your toes. Varelans' elbow has always been his big attribute. Can he get enough leverage to land, though? He's elbowing backwards.
He's missing with the elbows. He's catching him with the tricep, not the bone part of the elbow.
Varelans does not want to go down. If he goes down, he's going to be like a bus dropping. Almost now 5 minutes.
I'm not sure what Ruas went for to get in this position. I mean, unless he's just thinking of taking him down maybe from here.
There's some uniqueness with that arm over the top of the octagon, latching onto the fence from the reverse side. Now he's got both hands on the octagon.
I think it's the octagon that's holding him up at this point.
I think so too. If he loses the grip on the octagon, he might be rolled backwards.
Right, he's going to be taken down if he does.
How long can he hold on, and what can Ruas do to soften him up? Ruas trying to wrap the leg around Varelans.
Oh, that one had him hurt. Oh, that one hurt a lot.
Once again, it's countering of feet. Foot for foot. And a smashing foot drive by Ruas.
Well, this is a new form of striking here. Foot stomp. It's pretty effective, though, as we've seen tonight.
I'm amazed that I really don't know what Ruas is trying to do. I imagine he's thinking, hey, Varelans will let go of the fence, but he's not.
The crowd is getting up and enjoying it now. Varelans trying to work that left arm back and elbow Ruas, but Ruas won't let go of his gut.
Those are really missing. You can see Ruas just watching that arm.
And he's Ruas is only 6'1", he's 7 inches smaller, Don. It's almost an advantage here because he can't get nailed in the head.
Right. Well, Varelans now coming off a little bit of that fence.
One arm over, one arm latched in the middle.
Come on, let's go, let's go. Come on, Paul.
Varelans has that fence very securely held. And Ruas showing patience, just trying to get the big man off of that fence.
Well, if he gets him off the fence, the next thing is they're going to be on the ground.
I really think Varelans is going to be lost there, Don.
Ruas knees him to the back. Another knee. Not much damage, but nuisance-like.
I mean, this is like a little man with a tiny little axe trying to chop down a redwood.
Well, you know, you can chop down the biggest redwood a little at a time, Jeff.
That's exactly what he's trying to do. It's a smart tactic.
Come on, let's go.
He does only have 20 minutes. One would have to question Varelans' stamina, but by leaving him on the fence like this, he's not burning much energy. He doesn't have to move very far. He gets to hang on, keep his balance. And really, when you start to fatigue, maintaining your balance becomes so difficult. It burns so much more energy and, of course, frustrates you.
Oh, great shot of the fighters there. And you can see the elbows just unable to land squarely because of the low center of gravity of Ruas. Ruas trying to lug somebody off a fence. And Varelans showing sheer strength.
Well, Ruas is dealing with a lot of weight on top of that strength. I mean, he's a strong man, but there's a lot of weight being pulled around out there.
That's one warning. Come on, get it
That's a
going.
warning. Next warning is a reset.
You know, you almost want to think that he wants to jump up on his back and go for a choke. Throw both legs in around the waist, reach up around that neck, and just go wherever Varelans wants to go and just maintain the chokehold.
Marvelous crowd here in Buffalo. They go with what they want, and they can change in a minute.
Get over here. Let go,
They are real fight fans, and now we get a reset from John McCarthy at 9:10. 9 minutes, 10 seconds in unofficially. A reset.
You ready? You ready? Let's go. Get it on.
And here they go again.
See, now this is burning a lot more energy from Varelans. He's got to move. He's got to pace. He's trying to think. And if he gets frustrated, that just compounds fatigue, accelerates it. Different tactic by Varelans. Hands up, looking like a boxer.
But he sometimes switches to southpaw and doesn't even realize it. Oh, good kick answer by Varelans. A counter kick, a la the Dragon.
Well, you know, what happens is when you've been hurt to the leg, you want to hit the other guy in the leg.
How's his technique?
Not good, but
Get it going. Come on.
his attitude's good.
You have to wonder if that was a mistake by Ruas, letting Varelans rest against the fence.
Well, I'm not sure he was letting him. I think he was.
You could have let him go and started fighting again. Look at him there for almost 5 minutes.
Right, time-wise, it could have been a bad strategic move.
Varelans playing a little bit of attitude on Ruas. Another solid leg kick.
You can see the bruises on his leg. He's hurt. That thigh, he's not going to be able to walk tomorrow on that leg.
Heavily bruised is the left thigh of Varelans. Those are from the kicks by Ruas, which are more technique-like, more precise. And I think Varelans' greatest strength is his sheer will.
He needs to lift that leg up. You know, it's a very simple block that. All he needs to do is lift his leg up.
Look at the welts on that leg.
Well, I've been there myself a few times, but all he needs to do is lift that left leg up when the kick, just like that. That's all there it is right there. That's the block. He won't get hit on that thigh if he just does that. There it is.
Nicely done.
Can Marcos now, as he lifts that leg in anticipation of that side kick, go to the other knee and just strike the posting knee?
Or why not throw a right hand, Don?
Well, the reason he can't do that, go back to the back leg, is it's too far away. It's not the same level. It's not the front.
Grappling, back to boxing. Interesting fight here.
Come on, gentlemen, let's go, let's go.
The Japanese might have called him the most complete fighter, but
Oh boy, that left leg, he can't stand on it much longer. He really ate a big kick there.
He's got to block them there. He's got to block them. That's all he has to do. It's very simple. There it is.
Doing a good job at it, isn't he?
Well, now he is, but it's a day late, $1 short. He's taking a lot of punishment on that left leg. There it is again.
And the alternative for him is to go to the mat where he knows that Ruas is most dangerous, and that's not a good option. Oh my, Ruas firing leg kicks at will.
using his speed and motion to keep Varelans away.
This is the most effective leg kicking we have seen in the UFC.
Absolutely. But as you can see, it is effective. I mean, you can see now that a strike to the thigh doesn't damage.
Now he goes the other way. And that's not a bad idea because you won't know which way to turn. Before long, he'll be the leaning tower of Varelans.
Now, the best thing Varelans could do is back up and let Ruas come to him at this point. The reason he can get those leg kicks in easily is he's walking forward, walking right into them. Varelans needs to sit back and just counter a little bit. Just sit back and let Ruas come to him. Let him make the fight.
Oh, big shot by Ruas. The leg and the hands. Back to the left. Down goes Varelans.
Oh, they're not throwing in the towel. I can't believe it.
Do it all. Punch, kick, and wrestle. And he proved it tonight.
Varelans appears to be okay. Marco Ruas. A spectacular finish. Tremendous leg power. And a celebration. I think he's almost in tears.
Well, I think that proves that striking can be used in the UFC.
(13-17) the final time. Marco Ruas wins UFC 7. That's it from Buffalo, New York for the Dragon, Don Wilson and Jeff Blatnick and Michael Buffer. I'm Bruce Beck. We'll see you at the Ultimate.